Greetings, everyone. I hope that you are all doing, I hope that you guys are all doing well. Let's see. Hi, Justice Jane. How are you today? Okay, so I'm going to continue the discussion in speaking out about Nikki McCain, the fact that she has gone missing and charges have been dropped against her husband, who you see flipping the bird to the camera people outside of the courthouse. So that is where this photograph is taken. He had his hearing for the domestic violence charges, and he's such a great guy that he flips the national media the bird. So he's a jerk. All right.
If you don't get a conviction at that point, you're done. They're holding off to get more information.
If I could operate Twitter okay, then we would be all right. Okay. So this is...
Hi, my name is...
Okay. So this is Lisa, the lawyer. I'm going to copy her link for those of you who do TikTok, which I do not. Here is the link to her channel. She actually is from the area. Should be coming through. Come on. There it is. Okay. So mods, if y'all can help me just kind of putting that link out there for people so that they can listen to Lisa, the lawyer, and learn as much as they can about the case. She was actually in the courtroom on the day that they had his hearing for the domestic violence charges. She recognizes, she's tuned in to the fact that a lot of people are very angry about the fact that charges were dropped. They don't quite understand what it was, why this crazy DA courthouse in California, why things turned. I don't mean crazy DA. I mean the whole situation surrounding McCain. How did this turn out that charges are dropped when the poor woman, Nikki, has gone missing? And so this fine lawyer is going to describe to us the crazy situation, not the crazy DA, but that the DA seemingly created what appears to be a crazy situation to those of us that are not attorneys. We don't know California law. And so we're just sort of reacting, with outrage, but this is such a terrible, terrible situation. Why hasn't this man been arrested for her murder and thrown in jail? Basically, a replay of Barry Morphew. All right. So let's see what Lisa, the lawyer from TikTok, as she sat in the courtroom and watched it unfold, let's hear her explanation. Well,
Ms. Lisa Jensen, I've been an attorney for 12 years, practicing criminal law in California. I've been a prosecutor, public defender, and private attorney. I've done 30 jury trials and 4 court trials. And I was in court this last Friday in Shasta County, where I've practiced since 2017, and I saw the Tyler McCain case being heard. Let's get into that for a second, because I want people to understand. I know they want answers. I want them to have those answers. Let's put a little framework on this, shall we? So I understand that people were upset to hear that there was a dismissal of the charges against Tyler McCain, who got charges filed on him for domestic violence against Nikki McCain. Later on, Nikki McCain disappears. The DA is in court saying, well, Nikki is a necessary witness. We cannot proceed to this trial without her presence. And then they move for a dismissal. And people were thinking, well, they failed Nikki. No, I professionally disagree. And here's why I don't think that they failed her. In California, every felony case, you get 2 filings, meaning it's a 2 dismissal rule. If you file it and you can't get a courtroom in time, you can't get to trial in time, something falls apart, you get another filing. You can file the same charges, you can add charges, but you get that second filing based on a felony incident as long as you're within the statute of limitations, which is 3 years. As long as they file it within the next 3 years from the date of the incident, they're still good to go. So by not just filing it again, and then he can, gun it and say, I want my speedy trial, I won't waive anything, I won't waive time, I won't give up anything. Now he has to sit in perpetuity waiting to see what the DA does. And I'm going to go on a limb and say that after they charged him with a criminal threat that was part of his domestic violence charges, the criminal threat is like a threat to kill or cause great bodily injury. So that was in the mix. That was charged against him in his case that was dismissed. But I think they saw that because somebody made a filing decision and went, yep, let's charge him with that felony.
Okay, but Lisa, the lawyer, you're ignoring the whole reason for the outrage. And that is she's now gone. It wasn't a threat to cause bodily injury. He apparently did cause the bodily injury. And then he started a fire and he got a ticket for that rather than a criminal arson charge. So what the hell is going on in Shasta County? That's what those of us that are following this case, that's our confusion, how crazy the non-response of law enforcement and the law community. Where is the response? How much more do you need to believe that an abusive man using methamphetamine did in fact do what he threatened to do to his wife, which is kill her? How much more does California, Shasta County law enforcement need?
That's a 3 strikes felony. They are trying to say that they believe that he threatened to kill or cause great bodily injury. So now that Nikki's missing, who do we think that they have their eye on? And that's where investigation comes in. I don't want people to give up, because even if Nikki was never found, let's go worst case scenario for a second. Let's say Nikki's never found, but they get investigation about why she went missing, what happened there. And it's enough that they can show a judge that they think that the defendant that they're trying to prosecute is the reason she's now missing and unavailable for testimony. Now they get the hearsay in. You have to make sure that the evidence is going to be admissible and is going to lead to a conviction. So if you're missing major parts of the case because they're not going to be admissible in court, that's a problem, and you do not want to blow that chance to get the conviction by going forward, getting a jury sworn, double jeopardy. Once you hit the double jeopardy phase, there's no dismissal and refile anymore.
And we get that, right? We talked about that already. We're dealing with that same kind of problem in a couple of the other cases that are going on right now. And, Karen Reed is looking at really double jeopardy in some of her charges, including the murder charge. So I get the importance of following this thing by the book and following California law to a T. I respect all that. I get all that. I don't have a problem with that. But here's the big but. She came into the emergency room bleeding and battered, and not only was she lucid and capable of making a statement at the time she appeared, not in the days after, not after she had been in a coma for a month, but when she appeared, she was lucid. She gave a statement to Shasta County Sheriff's Department deputies, and you have the treating physician who also received firsthand statements from this patient, which does not follow under the hearsay rules. There is simply no reason that they would not go ahead and prosecute this man with some sort of charge that's going to land his ass in jail for decades. I'm confused by this DA that seems to have gotten overwhelmed by the process of the law. I don't understand why she had to pull back. I mean, this dangerous man is walking free, and has probably now gone into hiding there on the reservation. This is a real problem. This is a real problem.
If you don't get a conviction at that point, you're done. They're holding off to get more information, probably so they can prosecute him even harder. So if you are somebody that cares about Nikki Saelee, this is what you do. If you think that you have a lead, share it. Share that lead. Make sure that they're getting information that might help. The community wants to find Nikki. They want her found. If you're thinking, well, I'm going to call up the DA and demand that they do a better job. Now, I don't know about that because it doesn't seem to me like they're doing a bad job on this case. It seems like they're doing what they can, and it's just that they have to navigate a variety of issues to get this prosecution done. And there may be more coming. It may turn into a homicide. It may be that the situation with the fire last week ends up being an arson. I don't know. I don't think they're done. It does not seem like they're done. It does not seem like they're treating it like it's not serious. It seems like they're treating it like it is very serious and like they care a lot about this situation. They're the ones that are maybe going to get the justice, so enable them. Make it so that they feel supported and like you will help cooperate and connect them up with information that might help them get this.
No. They don't need to feel supported. Okay, these are professionals. These are professionals working in the realm of law enforcement. This district attorney, these police officers, these investigators, they don't need to worry about their warm and fuzzies. That's absolutely absurd at this point. We hear that so much about, oh, we just need to be kind and we just need to support people. And yet the very same people calling for kindness and supportiveness, when somebody tried to shoot the head off of Donald Trump, then you had the same exact people talking about safe spaces. These same people came out and said, oh, too bad they missed. Oh, such a shame that we didn't get to see his head explode all over national television. So no. We don't have, this doesn't have to be warm and fuzzy, Lisa, the lawyer. These people these are the professionals. And whether they're treated with kindness and love and gentleness and tucked into Betty by at night with a warm cup of milk or not, it does not change the charging laws in California. Everybody knows what happened to this young woman. If you had the evidence to charge him with domestic violence charges, 4 different ones that would have resulted in 30 years in prison, you got enough to go for attempted murder. All right, done with this one. Thank you, Lisa, the lawyer, for your professional insight, because I think it's important that those of us that don't know the law in California to hear it. And I hear what you're saying. I hear that there are nuances, getting statements in. I respect that so much, but I disagree with this idea that we got to be sweet to the attorneys and sweet to the investigators and support them. No, the only people here that need support is the family of Nikki McCain. That's the only people I'm worried about supporting here. I'm not playing these stupid games anymore. This woman was brutalized, absolutely brutalized. I don't care if it was done by her husband or boyfriend or a stranger off the street. I don't care. It was brutal and animalistic any direction you go. And the fact that it came from her husband should not in any way minimize the charges that he gets. Okay, now then, let's see. I got another article to share to open up. Okay, so first of all, let me go through new information and then I'll share the other. Okay, now then. So we kind of have now today, news sources have come forward And they've given us a bit of a clearer storyline for what happened the evening that Nikki went missing, and the story, the behind the scenes stories that have been offered up by Jeanette McCain, Nikki's mother-in-law, as well as her brother-in-law, Tyler's brother, who is Brian McCain. It's so convoluted and crazy. Okay, it's convoluted, it's crazy, it's nuts. All right. So Nikki went missing May the 18th. She's a 39-year-old woman living in Shasta County, and she has been very, very close with her family of origin. The last communication that they had with Nikki was on Saturday, May the 18th. Nikki texted her little sister, Chloe, at 12:35 a.m., so right after midnight. The texting was bizarre, and the family does not believe that it was Nikki. All right. So Nikki's brief text said that she was driving the truck that belonged to Jeanette McCain. Her full name is Jeanette Haywood McCain. She is, in fact, a Native American. So we know that she lives there on the reservation. We know that she's on the council. We know that she's connected professionally to the casino. And now we have our answer. Yes, Jeanette herself is American Indian. Her father was a very, very powerful man there at the reservation. And of course, law enforcement's hands are tied when it comes to investigating anything there on the reservation. And so we're all pretty well assured that Tyler is laying around up on the reservation somewhere using methamphetamine, being a menace to the people there. So earlier, Nikki, according to the text, Nikki had gone with Jeanette, her mother-in-law, to the hospital to visit Tyler's brother. Now, Tyler's brother, his name is Brian. Brian was just, all they say, he was in the hospital. He had a medical emergency. What was it? Like, what happened that the same exact night that Nikki goes missing, Brian ends up hospitalized? Who hurt whom? Did Tyler take too much meth, lose his mind? Brian tried to step in and save the life of Nikki? Is that what happened? So whatever happened that Brian McCain ends up in the hospital, we need to know why the man's in the hospital. We need to know what happened to him. Was he shot? Was he hit over the head with a bat? Because all of this happened within a couple of hours of each other, and it directly involves Tyler McCain, his mother, Jeanette Haywood McCain, and his brother, Brian McCain. So the text message just after midnight was the last known communication received from Nikki. Nikki's family members say Nikki's phone did not receive any of their messages after that fateful text. They conclude that Nikki's phone was either destroyed, broken, or turned off. Several days passed. Members of Nikki's family compared notes, and collectively they realized that Nikki had not actually been heard from since the 17th. On Tuesday, May the 21st, Nikki's family, in a panic, ended up reaching out to the Redding Police Department. Now, this was significant. It had been more than 3 days since Nikki legitimately had been in contact. It was actually like 4 or 5 days since Nikki had actually been in contact. And this is one of those families where all the sisters all talk to each other every day. They're together every day. They're like best friends, not just siblings. And so a period of 3 or 4 days of not even a simple text, phone number, nothing is ominous. They're freaking out and terrified. So they reach out on the 21st to Reading Police Department. The missing persons case was subsequently taken up by the county. The Shasta County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit, due to the fact that Nikki lived 10 miles west of Anderson in a rural, unincorporated community known as Happy Valley. The family theorized that Reading Police Department had jurisdiction since Nikki's last known whereabouts was Mercy Medical Center. Mercy Medical Center is in Reading city limits. So it's so bizarre that they transferred it to Shasta County Sheriff's Office because Nikki wasn't there. Nikki is an Asian American. She is only 5 feet tall and weighs less than 100 pounds. The Shasta County Sheriff's Office is currently the lead agency in the missing person investigation. The casino, the reservation, started out, they offered a $10,000 reward. They cooperated in a very limited fashion. And then they brought out this $10,000 reward. And since May the 18th, that award now has gone up to $20,000. So we're now up to $20,000. Those telephone numbers that you see, general phone number 530-776-7174, that is actually a good number. It's the current number for the current missing poster for Nikki. Now, there are some members of Nikki's family that are pretty upset about the way that law enforcement has responded to this terrible disappearance. They're uncertain about many of the details. They've really fought with Shasta County to get information about important things that happened the actual day that she went missing, or the day before she went missing. But what they notice is a pattern, that the information that they're unable to get is all about the mother-in-law, the lady, the American Indian who lives on the reservation, who, they're not just picking on American Indian, this was the last known person that Nikki was with. Remember, the strange text they do not believe came from Nikki, although it was sent on Nikki's phone, said that Nikki was doing the very unusual action of going to the hospital with her mother-in-law. She's been broken up from a bastard that tried to beat her to death, okay? She's been broken up from him since December. So why is it she's going to suddenly become part of the McCain family and go visit Brian McCain in the hospital, who has a recent medical emergency, just a few hours after last known proof of life for Nikki on the 17th? And why is Nikki driving around parking her mother-in-law's truck? And where the hell is Nikki's truck? So they cannot get the sheriff's department to give them information related to Jeanette Haywood. They don't know, after Nikki left the hospital, after she supposedly got her own truck, they don't know if she was traveling alone. They don't know if Jeanette Haywood was still traveling with her. She doesn't know they don't know where she may have gone or who she may have encountered in that very, very limited window of time. What they do know is that shortly after Nikki went missing, Jeanette Haywood had possession of her own vehicle again, the one that Nikki supposedly drove to the hospital for the hospital visit. They don't know how it is that Jeanette got her own truck back from Nikki. It's a terrible story. Now, Nikki is the oldest of 7 children. And this family, which are immigrants, they're legal immigrants. They were born in a refugee camp in Thailand. This is an incredibly well-bonded family. They talk to one another daily. They see each other nearly daily. They're together all the time. During a recent appearance on Shasta Unmasked, which is a local radio show on KCNR 96.5 FM, Nikki's youngest sister, Chloe Saelee, explained how her parents had come to the United States in the mid-1980s in search of the American dream and ended up in Redding, California. Now, going back to the trucks, Nikki's own truck, as they're moving Jeanette Haywood's truck around, Brian's up in the hospital having a medical emergency. At the same time, Nikki's truck goes missing, right? And so Nikki's 2002 Avalanche, several days later, was eventually found not in Shasta County, not on the reservation, but in a completely different county called Tehama County. And this area where the avalanche was found was 50 miles southwest of the medical center where she supposedly went to go visit Brian McCain. So there's a connection, right? There's a line of sight from Redding, from the reservation, the casino, to Redding, to Mercy Medical Center, to Tehama County where the avalanche was found. It was found in this like old, abandoned, rundown, dead little town called Begum. Nikki had only owned the truck for a few weeks before she disappeared. So it sounds like in December, she got nearly killed by her husband. She filed charges. She moved out of the house, and then she must not have had her own vehicle. And so she purchased this very old truck to get her around town. So the Shasta County Sheriff's Office on May the 30th released a statement saying that Nikki's truck had been located and asked the public to contact the Shasta County Sheriff's Office if they had any additional information about Nikki's whereabouts. But listen, they were looking for the truck. They had put the picture of the truck out on the public airways. We're looking for this gray, pewter-colored 2002 Chevy Avalanche. The last time it was around was in Redding, California. Please help us find this. And they located the truck and never told anyone. They had people still searching for this damn truck a week later. And it was finally on May the 30th that the Shasta County said, oh, well, maybe we should let everybody know that we've had the truck for more than a week. This sheriff's office is shady as hell. Shady. So the fact that this avalanche was found so far from her last known whereabouts suggests logically there had to have been at least 2 people involved and an additional vehicle for her truck to ever end up where it is. Where's the explanation for how Nikki is in the hospital visiting Brian and she's with her mother-in-law, Jeanette, and the next thing we know, her truck is 50 miles in the opposite direction. Jeanette's own truck is back at her house, and Nikki is nowhere to be found. Jeanette Haywood has some explaining to do. So does Brian McCain. She has some explaining to do. And yet this family cannot get the Shasta County Sheriff's Office, the detectives, the district attorney. No one will give them any information on anything related to Jeanette Haywood. Nothing. There are only 2 paved highways between the hospital where Nikki was last seen and her truck's location. Only 2. This is not complicated. Before being dropped off, Nikki's truck was either driven west on Highway 36. Let's see. West on Highway 36 from the Bowman Road and Cottonwood direction, or going southwest on the Platina Road from Reading. Even if she had gone south on the Platina Road, that road intersects with Highway 36 anyway. The only other route would require a 4-wheel drive that could cross a creek. So either direction, any way you look at it, that her truck was on Highway 36 South at some point. I mean, it's crazy. Now, Jeanette McCain, or Jeanette Haywood is her maiden name, McCain, her married name. Nikki's mother-in-law is an enrolled member of the Reading Rancheria tribe. Her father, Orval Haywood, passed away in 2012 at the age of 69. He was the facilities manager at the Wind River Casino. Haywood was considered a Wintu and Reading Rancheria tribal elder. Let that sink in. And Shasta County Sheriff's Department won't give Nikki's family any information about where the hell Jeanette Haywood was, or Tyler, or why Brian was in the hospital exactly coinciding when Nikki went missing. Does this sound like justice to you, or are we looking at another cover-up? So Orval, being a tribal elder, an incredibly important man, was actually the deciding factor for the Wind River Casino being built and opening in 1993. It's a very powerful man. Up until a few years ago, Nikki was working as a cocktail waitress at the casino. And I know we had kind of talked about that, batted that back and forth a little bit, trying to find out, did she work there? Is that rumor? Like, what's going on? No. She had been a cocktail waitress, but it seems that once she got together with Tyler, that she no longer worked there anymore and didn't seem to have her own vehicle. So was he a controlling, isolating, abusive asshole? Sure seems like he was. Many other members of Jeanette Haywood McCain's family continue to work at the casino today. The Reading Rancheria has issued a press release stating it supports all efforts to locate Nikki, but that's not exactly true. They did seriously limit the locations that could be searched. The Reading Rancheria offered a reward of $10,000 for information regarding Nikki's whereabouts. There's a communication between the Shasta County Sheriff's Office and NordCall Alliance for the Missing to help find Nikki. Okay, Reading Rancheria, the tribe, why don't you let state police, not these Shasta County cops, let state police and the FBI get on the reservation. Let them do a proper investigation. And let's say, I don't know, look for freshly dug up graves. Nikki's husband, Tyler McCain, who is Jeanette Haywood's son, both Tyler and Jeanette and Brian, I guess all three, are enrolled members of the Redding Rancheria tribe. Nikki and Tyler have been married for 16 years. Previously, I think they've been married 13 years, but they dated 16 years. They have 4 children. During the last 4 to 5 years, Nikki and Tyler's relationship has been marked by violent episodes, S plural, an increasing number of violent episodes. I wonder if that coincides with Tyler's exploration of the wonderful, beautiful new world of methamphetamine. My guess is probably yes. On June the 3rd, the subject of domestic violence in the couple's relationship was addressed publicly when Nikki's 2 sisters, Chloe Saelee and Kay Saelee Ford, appeared on Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. Saelee told Grace that she had started to notice, that is Chloe Saelee, had started to notice in 2019 that her sister Nikki had black eyes and bruises on her body. She said she thought Nikki did not want to talk about the bruises because she was embarrassed about being a victim of domestic violence, and she wanted to live up to her desired image as the stronger older sister. And I did feel like Nancy Grace was a little aggressive. I don't think she didn't treat Chloe with much respect. And I get it. It's easy to get angry at a statement like, well, I didn't say anything about the fact that my sister was getting beat up by her husband because I didn't want to embarrass her or take her dignity from her. But we're talking about a family that were still deep in the cultural influences of Thailand, who were here as immigrants and remained a very close-knit community of their own. And we have to respect other cultures, right? And while I would not have kept my mouth shut, I would have been forceful. I would have made reports to protective services every time there was a black eye or unexplained bruise. I would have done that knowing full well that I would be making these people angry. As a mandated reporter, you cannot factor in whether you're going to make someone angry or hurt their feelings. You cannot do that because you don't know if that person sporting that black eye and bruises, you don't know if they are in a life or death situation. You don't know. People can seem perfectly reasonable and delightful and then get intoxicated on methamphetamine and turn into a violent monster. So the way the law reads in Texas, Louisiana, West Virginia, the states that Colorado, the states that I know, the laws, it's not my judge to conduct an investigation and determine if there is domestic violence or abuse against a child or that an elderly person is in danger. That is not my responsibility. I am not a law enforcement officer. My job is to raise a red flag to the investigators. My job is to create a paper trail so that when law enforcement does get involved, they've got some good factual information, history that they can use as a guide stone for their investigation. So I respect Chloe. I respect the fact that she tried to honor her older sister's wishes, maybe the wishes of her parents. I honor that. I don't judge her in a negative way. But had I known anything about it, I certainly would have contacted with no worry about whether they would ever be my friend again or would they be mad at me. You take a deep breath and you do the right thing because you may be saving someone's life. That's just the bottom line as mandated reporter. Whether you're a teacher, whether you're a healthcare provider, you take your responsibility serious as a mandated reporter. Let the law enforcement do the investigation. All you got to do is raise the red flag. So Saelee, Chloe Saelee, and her sister both spoke to News Cafe, and Chloe said that despite Nikki being a known victim of domestic violence, Nikki did proclaim to love Tyler. And she said that, repeatedly that she wanted to repair their relationship. She wanted to fix their friendship. Now, I'm going to share with you a picture of the two of them. And it does seem like he was in healthier days, right? This doesn't look like, whoops, let me make sure you can see it. Okay. This doesn't look like the guy that we have on the thumbnail, right? He looks fairly healthy here. He looks relaxed and kind. He looks like he's filled out. He's got some weight. You look along his jawline, his chest area. He looks pretty healthy here. Those are, that's clearly in better times. But then here's the man that she encountered who did her in. Doesn't even look like the same guy, does it? When methamphetamine is involved, the FBI says you are in danger. It's no longer, well, maybe you're in danger. Perhaps methamphetamine can make an otherwise pacifist become a violent, avenging monster. The FBI has put out notice to all law enforcement, all health care facilities. If methamphetamine is in play, consider yourself around a dangerous criminal. They will kill you for no other reason than they're using methamphetamine. That comes directly from the FBI. Okay? So you can just see in that a little change in picture the difference between a healthy brain and a guy who has made himself insane with this particular drug. Now, this is important. This next part is important, and you're not seeing this really talked about much. Remember what I said, that over time, these episodes of violence became more frequent and more violent, more damaging. That eventually the tribe itself, the Redding Rancheria Tribal Court, ordered Nikki and the 4 children out of their home, off the reservation, due to specifically the domestic violence that was taking place in their house. And don't forget what I said. The Shasta County Sheriff's Department seems to be protecting Redding Rancheria. Okay, why did they remove Nikki and the kids from the home? Why didn't they jail the monster that was abusing them? Oh, because it's the grandson of a tribal elder. How foolish of me. So the Redding Rancheria tribe, the court, kicked Nikki and her kids out of their house, made them homeless to protect the violent bastard who was hurting them. In one of these fights that was had, Nikki, this is the information being put out by the tribal court, right? They're covering their ass, coming and going. They're protecting Tyler coming and going. They're protecting Jeanette coming and going, and it's an obscenity. Obscenity. Listen to the story the tribal court said. That one of their people put out a leak. They said that in one of the mini fights, Nikki hit Tyler with a cutting board with so much force it left a gash on his eyebrow and forehead. Poor baby. Poor baby Tyler. This is the ultimate in victim blaming. What is the chances that Nikki was getting the shit beat out of her and she grabbed whatever was closest to her to try to protect herself? Remember, this woman weighs less than 100 pounds. She's 5 feet tall. She's no more the height of a young teenager, like a preteen. This is obscene. The source told News Cafe that immediately following the cutting board incident, Tyler called his mommy. Tyler called his mommy, Jeanette, and said, "Oh, she being mean to me, mommy. Help me." And Jeanette called the law enforcement officials. They came to the couple's home. They said they had received a report that Tyler was injured in a fight. Tyler was a victim. Poor baby. And so Nikki was the primary aggressor. And they said Tyler could go home with the children, but Nikki could not. So they let this violent piece of shit go home with 4 kids and sent this 100-pound small female adult, sent her packing. That's right. They told Tyler he could go home with the kids and Nikki could not. Tyler told them no, he's going home with his wife. And the very important point of this report is that every single word in the statement, in the official documents concerning this episode, it was only Tyler's words, not Nikki, not the sheriff's department, no one else. Tyler, the grandson of one of the most powerful court elders that there is, he was allowed to create the legal record. The violence seems to have lasted about 5 years as an ongoing incident, although there certainly had been episodes before that, occasional black eye and bruising. On December the 1st, 2023, Shasta County Sheriff's Deputy Jerry Mall responded to Mercy Medical Center that Nikki visited the hospital to seek medical help after she was severely assaulted by Tyler at their Happy Valley home. Deputy Mall's report noted that the area around both of Nikki's eyes was blackened severely and swollen. It appeared as if she had been hit in the face many times. Nikki told Deputy Mall that Tyler attacked her when she arrived home on the evening of November the 29th, 2023. Tyler pinned her to the ground and dragged her around while repeatedly hitting her in the face and yelling at her. Nikki claimed Tyler had a glazed and frightening look in his eyes. Nikki told the Deputy Mall that she believed Tyler was using methamphetamine. Multiple sources told News Cafe they suspected Tyler used methamphetamine often. Nikki reported that Tyler pulled out pieces of her hair and poured cold water on her while pinning her down to the ground. According to the Shasta County Sheriff's Office incident report, Tyler beat up Nikki for 3 hours or more in their home on the evening of November 29th, 2023. Nikki said that Tyler bound her ankles and placed tape over her mouth. Nikki said Tyler turned her on her stomach and sat on top of her, wishing her to die, acknowledging that she probably could not breathe because of the tape and the swelling in her eyes and nose. She said that Tyler intended to kill her. Nikki lay on the ground very still for hours as Tyler periodically hit her in the face with his fist and hands. At one point, Tyler tried to wrap something around her neck to strangle her, but she was able to stop him. Deputy Mall wrote in the incident report that he did notice strangle and choke marks around Nikki's neck. Deputy Mall noted that Nikki said she was not sexually assaulted during the incident. Tyler is substantially larger and stronger than she is, and there simply would be no way for her to fend him off in this fit of rage. That was in the report. At 11:30 p.m. on the night of November 29th, after hours of beating, Nikki was able to escape from her home. Nikki said that Tyler went to the kitchen for several minutes. She grabbed her car keys, jumped in the vehicle, and started toward the drive. Tyler chased her out of the home, jumping onto the hood of the car, trying to prevent her from leaving the property, and she simply floored the gas and he came off. Shortly after the alleged attack, Nikki visited One Safe Place in Redding. This is specifically an agency for victims of domestic violence. Nikki started to meet regularly with a victim's advocate that was provided by the Shasta County District Attorney's Office. Tyler's statement, by comparison, was completely inconsistent. Deputy Mall ultimately arrested Tyler at his Happy Valley home after meeting with Nikki at the hospital and taking her statement. The doctors verified the source of her injuries as consistent with a severe beating by hands or an object. Tyler told Deputy Mall that there was simply no disturbance at the home on the evening of November the 29th. Tyler told Deputy Mall he thought Nikki had gotten into a fight with another woman. He believed, Tyler, this is confusing. Tyler seemed to believe that the other woman that had beaten Nikki, that she was in an affair with Nikki. But then through further questioning, they went on to say that the two women got along really great and that they were fine. Tyler said that he and Nikki were a very happy couple and that there were no physical altercations between them. Tyler was arrested, charged with 3 felonies, and then ultimately in a 4th felony domestic violence charge, along with false imprisonment, terroristic threats, and threats of death. Deputy Mall noted that 5 firearms were found inside the bedroom in plain view. An AK-47 rifle had been stolen out of Oregon. Tyler's firearms were all confiscated and booked into the Sheriff's Department crime lab. Not long after being booked into the Shasta County Jail, Tyler posted bail. Guess who did it? Oh, mama. Oh, mommy Jeanette. My poor baby. My poor little baby boy. I tell you, some moms infantilize their sons and make them crippled to be able to live an adult life. Finally, May the 7th this year, 2024, there's a hearing inside Shasta County Superior Court. Tyler pleads not guilty to domestic violence and the related charges. Nikki told her sister Chloe in a text message on May 7th she was preparing to file for divorce to end her marriage with Tyler. And then 11 days later, Nikki is gone. There's been a great deal of support in Shasta County for Nikki and for the Saelee family. It was the Judge Daniel Flynn who decided to continue domestic violence hearing until July the 5th. And on July the 5th, of course, that is when the DA came forward and said they intended to drop the charges. However, an investigation is still supposedly ongoing. Tyler has lost a great deal of weight. He looks really unhealthy, and he's being followed about, right? He can't really go anywhere without people knowing the story, hearing of the plight of Nikki Saelee. He's being watched by everyone, and they have been a very organized group searching everywhere, except they have had their hands tied in terms of trying to actually search on the reservation. On July the 3rd, Tyler was cited for starting a fire. It burned 98 acres. His story was shady as hell, and everybody was horrified. They really believed that it would be felony arson charges, but they didn't. Tyler McCain, according to public records, has had many run-ins with law enforcement in the last 10 years. Tyler appeared before a Shasta County Superior Court judge to face felony burglary charges and misdemeanor vandalism. He received 3 years probation. He also pled guilty of a DUI charge in 2020. His blood alcohol level was 0.20. He was more than double the legal limit when he was arrested. The judge gave Tyler 3 years of probation and required that he have an ignition interlock device on his vehicle. Following the DUI arrest in 2023, Tyler's arrested for driving with a suspended license. And there was a settlement conference about the suspended license charge that was supposed to take place August 19th, 2024. Tyler has repeatedly been spotted driving in the Redding area and on the reservation. Sources indicate that Tyler's license remains suspended. And notable is that Nikki's history, her public record, there is absolutely nothing with any kind of criminal history or charges. A friend of the family reports deputies frequently showed up at their Happy Valley home. It was often 1 or 2 times a week. In winter of 2023, not long before Nikki was hospitalized, Nikki was assisted by neighbors after screaming out for help because Tyler was attacking her. Nikki fled the couple's property, saying Tyler had tried to strangle her. Nikki's feet were bleeding because she had stepped on broken glass as she was running, trying to get out of the house. Tyler has also been known to throw water on Nikki in public. He's thrown her out of the house and locked her outside in the dark many times without a vehicle. Nikki appeared as if she were struck in the face with facial bruises and swollen lips on a number of occasions. It's also been common for her to have marks around her neck, looking like handprints, the bruising looking like handprints. The source witnessing these things had expressed to Nikki's sisters many times over several years that they believed that Nikki was a victim of serious domestic violence. It was common for Nikki to leave the home during these fights with Tyler, only to return a few days later. Tyler has poured gasoline on Nikki's vehicle. He was heard by an officer saying that he was going to cut Nikki's head off. Chloe and Kay are confident Shasta County is investigating many resources as possible in their sister's case to ultimately not just find Nikki, but secure justice for her. Shasta County remains relatively quiet about Nikki's disappearance, causing many to speculate that perhaps Shasta County is dealing with some serious leads that are not ready to be released to the public. But Nikki's family refuses to remain quiet. We are not going to stop searching. We are going to continue to search until we find her, and then we will get justice for our sister. This is a terrible, absolutely terrible case. And we need to really continue to pay close attention and try to spread the story far and wide on social media. It's necessary. It's necessary for these people, the district attorney, the courts, the judge, the investigators, the reservation, the tribal council. It's important that they know that many, many people are watching this case and that they are supporting Saeelee's family. So share at will. All right. Okay, everybody. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being a member of this channel and coming and listening to these cases, because I know that there is so many great channels on YouTube to listen to. And I am humbled that you have found mine. So thank you. I appreciate your support. Okay. All right, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful day. Talk to you later.